The unexpected visit, the life behind the veneer. In the affluent, manicured suburbs north of New York City, Sarah Thompson, at 42, was the embodiment of elegant domesticity. Her home was less a house and more a curated gallery, all linen white sofas, sun-drenched oak floors, and original abstract art to a perfect setting for the flawless dinner parties she hosted. Her life, viewed from the outside, was a portrait of success: devoted wife, mother to 10-year-old Lily and 7-year-old Ethan, and mistress of a seamless household. Her husband, Michael, a dynamic, often absent founder of a successful tech logistics firm, was the architect of their financial comfort. Sarah was the architect of their social standing. When Michael was away, which was often, with the convenient excuse of closing deals in places like Hong Kong or London, Sarah managed everything with an impeccable, almost stoic grace. Beneath the impeccable style, however, was a quiet, creeping sense of loneliness that Sarah had expertly wallpapered over with activity. The knock that shattered the frame. It was a brilliant Tuesday afternoon. The air conditioning hummed softly against the late August heat. Sarah was in the dining room, setting out her late grandmother's crystal glasses for the annual neighborhood clambake prep. The doorbell chimed a polite, insistent melody. "Just the flower delivery," she murmured, wiping her hands on her apron. She pulled open the heavy oak door. Standing there was not the usual local florist, but a woman Sarah recognized instantly from Michael's occasional business emails: Emily Vance. Emily was younger, perhaps in her mid-30s, with the sharp, kinetic energy of someone who lived on adrenaline and corner offices. Her charcoal grey designer suit looked less like clothes and more like armor, and her dark hair was pulled back into a severe, powerful ponytail. "Mrs. Thompson, I'm Emily Vance," she said, her voice measured and cool. "Michael's business partner." "Emily, of course," Sarah replied, a knot forming in her stomach. Emily wasn't known for social calls. "Please, come in. Is Michael all right? Is there an issue with the Vancouver deal?" The calculated delivery. The two women sat in the sun-filled living room. The silence was heavy, broken only by the tick of the grandfather clock. Emily declined the offer of iced tea with a subtle shake of her head. Her eyes, sharp and unwavering, were locked on Sarah. Emily did not mince words. She reached into her oversized leather tote and produced a stark white envelope, sealed shut. The word legal was stamped subtly in black ink on the back. "I am not here to discuss the Vancouver deal, Sarah," Emily stated, her voice calm but devoid of sympathy. "I am here on Michael's behalf." "And mine." She slid the envelope across the glass coffee table. "Michael and I have been involved for over a year. He has invested heavily in my new firm, and we have decided to start a life together. He is filing for divorce. All the initial documents are in this envelope." He felt it was cleaner if I delivered them. The world seemed to tilt slightly on its axis. Sarah's first, primal instinct was to shatter one of the delicate crystal glasses. But decades of refined control took over. Her face remained a blank, elegant mask. The only outward sign of the inner maelstrom was the near imperceptible tightening of her grip on the armrest. "Clean," Sarah finally echoed, the word a dry, brittle sound. She picked up the envelope, her fingers tracing the sharp, formal edges. She looked up, not with tears, but with a sudden, searing clarity. "And what makes you believe this calculated cruelty is clean, Emily?" "It's sufficient," Emily countered, a sliver of annoyance in her tone. "It avoids a messy scene." "Michael respects you, Sarah, and wants you to be taken care of. The settlement package is generous." "Michael respects the idea of me," Sarah corrected, her voice now regaining its strength. "He doesn't respect me. You may tell him," she paused, meeting Emily's gaze, "that the messy scene he was avoiding will simply be delayed." "Thank you for your unexpected visit, Emily. I believe our business is concluded." The quiet revolution the moment Emily's expensive sports car pulled out of the driveway, the mask shattered. Sarah walked to her private study, placed the envelope on the desk, and simply stared at the sun-drenched garden, breathing until the panic receded. She didn't cry for the husband she was losing. She cried for the 10 years of her own life she realized she had dedicated to a comfortable illusion. The immediate shock gave way to a cold, sharp-edged resolve. She refused to be the discarded wife. Her first call was not to Michael, but to an attorney, a sharp, formidable woman her sister had recommended. Her second call was to her children's school to arrange for extra after-school activities for the next 2 weeks. Her third was to her best friend, detailing the betrayal with dry precision. The unwavering support from her small, trusted circle became her anchor. Her sister, Clara, flew in immediately. "You were living in a beautiful cage, Sarah," Clara said gently one night. "Now you have the key." Finding her own light over the next few months, Sarah initiated her quiet revolution. She started seeing the housey Michael's housey not as a prison, but as a blank canvas waiting for her own signature. She had studied art history in college, a passion she'd shelved for the demands of Michael's social climbing. Now, she unearthed her old easels and tubes of oil paint. She started in the unused, third-floor guest room, turning it into a light-filled studio. She painted the swirling, chaotic emotions she had initially suppressed, bold colors, sharp edges, and abstract forms full of raw feeling. Her painting became her language. It was honest, unlike her former life. Her lawyer negotiated a firm, non-negotiable settlement. Sarah insisted on keeping the house a solid base for her child Rena and a significant investment fund. Michael, eager to start his new life, agreed quickly. A year after the cold, cruel knock on her door, Sarah didn't just survive, she thrived. She partnered with a local curator who saw the fierce, unadulterated talent in her work. Sarah converted the ornate, unused carriage house on their property into the New York Canvas, a small, elegant gallery dedicated to showcasing emerging female artists. Her own work was the centerpiece, selling out on opening night. Sarah Thompson, now a renowned local gallery owner and artist, discovered a happiness rooted not in impeccable hosting or a prestigious marriage, but in her own resilience and creative power. She emerged from the shadow of betrayal not as a victim, but as an artist who finally found her true subject, herself. The echoes in the halls. The divorce proceedings were finalized quietly, unnecessary evil that Sarah handled with the same meticulous efficiency she once applied to seating charts. But the true complexity lay in the emotional landscape of her children, Lily, 10, and Ethan, 7. They were intelligent children, keenly attuned to the sudden quietness in the house. Michael's absence, once routine, was now permanent, and the pristine, polished atmosphere of their home felt subtly different, less formal, yet heavier. Lily, the more sensitive and articulate of the two, struggled with the fragmented loyalty. She saw the pain Sarah tried to hide and resented the father who had sent a stranger to break their family. One evening, Sarah found Lily sitting on the stairs, clutching a framed photo of the four of them from a past vacation. "Mom," Lily whispered, "is Emily going to be my new mum? Does Dad love her more than us?" Sarah knelt instantly, pulling her daughter into a fierce hug. "Oh, sweetie, never. No one could ever love you and Ethan more than I do, and your dad will always love you, too." "This isn't about us," she gently explained, trying to simplify the adult ugliness. "This is about decisions that grown-ups made about their own lives. Emily will never be your mom. I am your mom. And we," she squeezed her tight, "are going to be an even better team now." Ethan, the energetic 7-year-old, acted out his confusion. He started throwing tantrums, refusing to eat vegetables, and demanding to speak to his father when Michael was in a meeting. Sarah addressed this not with anger, but with structured presence. She dedicated her mornings to painting, but her afternoons were reserved for theme-tackling homework, building elaborate forts in the backyard, and crucially, taking them to her burgeoning art studio. The third-floor room, filled with the smell of turpentine and the vibrant, messy energy of creation, became their sanctuary. Sarah taught them how to mix colors, how to attack a canvas, and how to express the confusing feelings with brush strokes. Her healing process became their stability. 7. The grand opening 18 months after Emily's visit, Sarah Thompson was no longer defined by Michael's last name or his bank account. She was the proprietor and primary artist of the New York canvas. The opening night was a resounding success. The carriage house was transformed. Soft gallery lighting illuminated the textured walls and the breathtaking collection of Sarah's abstract pieces. Her painting, Delivery, a turbulent canvas of fractured white and stormy grey pierced by a single, sharp red line, hung prominently a permanent, artistic record of the day the papers arrived. The place was packed with art critics, journalists, and, most importantly, her supportive friends and family. Sarah, dressed in a sleek velvet gown that emphasized her newfound confidence, moved through the crowd, radiating a quiet, self-possessed joy. She was animated, funny, and utterly captivating. Suddenly, the buzz near the entrance dropped to a tense murmur. Michael and Emily walked in. They looked polished, arrogant, and utterly out of place amidst the genuine creativity. Michael, wearing a look of stunned disbelief, had clearly been dragged there by Emily, who likely saw it as a necessary social obligation to show they were supportive. Sarah saw them immediately. Instead of shrinking, she took a deep breath, fixing a cool, polite smile on her face. This was her space, her triumph. The final confrontation. Michael slowly made his way toward her, ignoring the throng of admirers. Emily, however, approached one of Sarah's large, expressive paintings, analyzing it with a dismissive air. "Sarah," Michael started, his voice a low, strained rumble. "I can't believe this. I had no idea you were this good." "You had no idea I was capable, Michael," Sarah corrected, her voice clear and carrying enough to make a few nearby guests pause. "There's a difference." Michael tried to take her arm, a gesture of ownership she effortlessly dodged. "The gallery is stunning. Look, I know things were messy, but I'm proud of you. I really am. We should talk about a way to smooth things out for the kids." "There is nothing left to smooth out, Michael," she stated. "The children are thriving. They see you twice a month, and they are happy. Our relationship is strictly co-parenting, managed by text message. Congratulations on your new life. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have patrons to thank." As Michael retreated, embarrassed, Emily finally walked up, an expression of calculating superiority on her face. She gestured towards Sarah's painting, Delivery. "A bit dramatic, isn't it, Sarah?" Emily drawled, her voice dripping with condescension. "To immortalize a moment of necessary business in paint. It's beautiful work, but the subject is a little." Sarah stepped closer, her eyes glittering with the resilience of a woman who had faced her worst fear and turned it into art. "The subject isn't the papers, Emily," Sarah replied, calm and lethal. "The subject is the woman who received them, and how that moment gave her the strength to finally create a life of authenticity. You came here 18 months ago to deliver divorce papers. Tonight, you're standing in a gallery I own, looking at a piece of work I created, that is worth more than Michael's first offer of alimony. That is the subject." "Thank you for the inspiration." Emily, for the first time, was left speechless. She had no corporate script for this level of personal success. She turned and swept out, Michael trailing quickly behind her. Sarah watched them go, her smile genuine this time. She hadn't just gotten over the betrayal, she had used it as fuel. She rejoined her friends, raised her glass of champagne, and toasted her new life, forever free from the gilded cage she had once called home. The end.